Hello, 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 hello. We're back. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good night, and good afternoon, wherever in the world you are. We're back for episode 9. Oh my god, I can't believe I've been talking for like 9 episodes. It's like 9 hours of me talking about my crazy life, and it's been a road and it's been a big experience for me because obviously I'm showing everything. Like I feel completely naked in a way of exposing my deepest wounds and my shadows and everything that has gone through in my life, which it's not an easy thing to talk about, and most of the people would never ever allow themselves to expose it this way. And I feel for me has been a beautiful, beautiful journey. Has been something that I never would have thought I would have done, because I didn't even talk about this to my closest friends or even my therapist. Well, imagine telling 9 hours of stories to a therapist. You just there, they'll be like, "Oh my god, what the fuck is wrong with her? Like, just lock her up." But I'm very grateful for everyone who has listened and has allowed me to do this. And I'm very surprised. Like, I'm not even doing any promotions, and I haven't even put the link up, and because I feel that if anyone needs to listen to it, it would come. And later on, I will get into all that. Kind of moving it a little bit more and whatever. But for now, I'm just focused on my process, and I'm focusing and telling my story. Because this episode we're going to be touching. Oh shit! Sorry. This episode we're going to be touching a little bit more drama. A little bit more of the Rosalinda telenovela. But it's a moment where everything started clicking, where everything I just started realizing, and it was so much information thrown at me, at once. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like trying to process all that information. But I do get into a little bit of, a loop. Because I think my biggest lesson was self-love and self-worth. I didn't really love myself. I didn't really think I was worth anything. So I kept attracting the same situations, the same type of people, and same type of stuff until I could see it and go, oh, I can see you clearly now. Okay, this is what I need to change. So anyways, I think we left off, when I went and did Kambo, my beautiful little Kambo, which I love that medicine, and I started going up to the mountain and started realizing certain things. I think that all these ancestral medicines for me were essential because I was so blocked. I had such a different perception or like idea of what I had gone through. Like I couldn't even talk about it. I couldn't express it. I couldn't even see it myself, because it was so scary to look at that I would just, put it under the rug and go, whatever, let's just keep living and keep doing all this bullshit. And then when I realized that if I didn't see it, if I didn't confront all that type of stuff, I was going to keep repeating shit on loop. I was like, you know what, like it's worth it, because obviously it was that or I would kill myself. And killing myself, even that I tried, even that whatever, I could not do it. So there was no other option. It was like, I have to heal, yes or yes. So I kind of put my boots on and I went into that beautiful experience of inner work and finding out who I really was behind all the trauma and all the stuff that I have lived through. Like, who really am I without all the experiences and all this stuff that had happened? And it was really beautiful. But before I really realized, I had to go in a little bit in deep to be able to really see it. So, I quit doing coke in this whole addiction phase of doing it every day, August 2020. I did Kambo in those months, like August, November, I think it was September, October, November, and those times I did my 3 rounds of Kambo, which was like 1 week and then next week. Like, people can do it 3 days in a row, but like, I did it once, and then the next week I did one, and then the next day. It was, for me, it was life changing because it allowed me to take off the blockages for a little minute, you know, and kind of see where my body was reacting. So I remember in the first session, I was grabbing my ovaries, like, you know, my lower part, I was like running, like rolling around in the ground because it was so much, you know, it was like, what the fuck just entered my body? Because bear in mind, it's a venom. So your body reacts like protecting itself, yeah? So, because I told you guys that I will walk like 10 kilometers minimum a day with my whole kit of destruction, I started limping like on my right side. And I didn't know what the fuck it was. I was like, what the fuck am I limping? Like, what the fuck? Am I getting all this in my hips? Am I walking too much? Like, what the fuck is going on? So I went to the doctors and they were like, you know, doing like tests and stuff and trying to like open my leg and see what the fuck was going on. And they were like, okay, so you have no movement. Like, there's something here. So they did a CT and it resulted that I had 2 huge tumors in my ovaries. I had like a almost 6 centimeter tumor on my right side. That's why I was pressing on my hip so I couldn't move. And then I had another one that was smaller, was like 4 or 5 centimeters in my left side. And it was so weird because it was a teratoma. So a teratoma, it's like a tumor, it's benign. So it wasn't cancerous or anything like that. It was a benign tumor. The problem was it was so big that it could have turned my ovaries and then shit can happen. That was bad. But anyways, they found it, I guess, in the right moment. So they were like, they had to do surgery on me like straight away. Like they were like, the next week I was already in surgery. But it had like hair and teeth and weird shit. Like the teratomas are like that. They have like skin and it was so fucking weird. I was like, oh my God, like something normal can happen to me. Like what the fuck? But anyways, bear in mind, because I have this diagnosis of the autoimmune disease, it was a really risky surgery because they didn't know how my body was going to react, because I couldn't get like anesthesia. They couldn't put it, so they had to do sedation and they had to have like extra doctors in there. And because the tumor was so big, they were like, look, we don't know if we are going to be able to save those organs or whatever. So, you know, I had to kind of be prepared that if I woke up, they would just say, you know, like, that's it, we had to take the whole thing and you're probably not going to be able to have kids. And I didn't care. I was like, okay, let's just get it done. You know, I'm already not consuming. Luckily, everything just happens beautifully. So, you know, they were like, okay. So then in that moment, I was always a dog person. Like, I always loved dogs. I always, you know, I even studied vet tech in Spain because I wanted to help. Like, I'm very close with animals. Like, I feel that an animal has never harmed me in that way. So I always used to say, like, if I see a human with no leg, and like, I would go, okay, well, whatever. But if I see a dog limping, I literally cry. Like, I can't have anything with animals. Like, I have so much love for them, yeah? But I never had cats. I thought cats were just bitches, and they were like, you know, you tell them to come and they don't come, and I'm like, I don't want a cat. But I had a friend, she had this cat, and I don't know, I loved her, and I thought, well, I'm gonna get a little cat, and I got my beautiful cat, Lola. When she got to me, she arrived, I adopted her, but I think that she adopted me. In that moment, my heart was completely closed. Like, I didn't want to love anything. I didn't want to love anyone. I didn't even have love for myself. So I was like completely closed. And I always say that she was the little bugger that opened it. She opened that little key of love again on me. And, you know, it was such a beautiful moment. So anyways, they do this surgery, they take it out. In these same moments, like after the surgery, I think it was like February, my mom introduces me to which is now my ex-boyfriend. So the last partner that I had. My mom was friends with his mom for a very long time, and she knew him and all this stuff. And in that moment, I had been for like a long time where I was not producing any money, like at all. Like nothing would come out. Everything I would do, everything would just crumble. It was crazy. Like, I was really almost 2.5 years that I didn't make a cent, like a zero. No freaking money. And that's why I went my healing journey, because I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I really want to make money. Like, this is crazy. But anyway, so when I meet him, he was like, look, I have a lot of properties, my family owns a lot of shit, so like, let's work together. And I thought, yeah, well, why not? You know, I've never been involved with anyone older than me. Like my ex-boyfriend before that, which was the one that I got involved the 4 months after I left my ex-husband, he was 3 years younger than me. And the breakup was so fucking tough. And the way that he reacted was so immature that I thought I'm never going to get involved with anyone younger than me ever again. So I've never been with an older man either. Like I was always with people that were my same age. So, you know, she introduces me to this guy. Obviously, I meet him and I was like, immediate connection. He wasn't the prettiest, he wasn't the this, he wasn't the that, but there was something about him that was an instant like that. It was so crazy that I remember my stepdad used to say to my mom, like, what the fuck did you do? Why would you introduce him to him? And I would say, now why? But anyway, so, you know, I'm already not consuming, like, you know, like at least every day. Like I went through the whole process, and Campbell helped me a lot as well in letting go of that addiction, and maybe the witchy shit as well with this guy, and I don't know why. But anyways, I do realize now that it was my brain and, you know, me making that decision that I didn't really want to consume anymore. And then I go and meet my ex-boyfriend, which he was 12 years older than me. But he was party animal, yeah? Like, I always say there's levels of levels. Well, he was level king. And he was a really, really, really big addict as well to coke, but to a bunch of other shit that I didn't even know. So, you know, we start going out, and obviously I start kind of dipping in the toes again into this whole consuming stage. So it wasn't always, it was just a little bit here, a little bit there when I was with him, because obviously he consumed so much, I couldn't really have that much, and if there was there, he would do it all, so I had a little bit. So in a way, you know, it was a little bit of a toxic kind of tipping again into what it was consuming. There was something about him, and, you know, I didn't really understand this relationship for a very long time, because I ended up being with him, like in total time, it was almost 3 years. We did a little stop in between, which I'll explain to you in a minute, but in the time together, it was almost 3 years. So anyways, we were together for about a year. You know, we're kind of dipping in the toes into the whole party again and the whole addiction, but it was really different, because for me, that relationship, and for me, him specifically, because I can't talk bad about him at all, because he was such a mirror. He was like somebody had put a version of me in a man's body, and they were showing me what I could become and who I really was and what I was wanting in my life. Like he was the biggest. I think that if we think about like karmic souls and like learning missions and all this stuff, I think we made this pact that we were going to help each other, because he was just what really got me. So like the finish line, I was like, kind of come and get to it, and he just pushed me to the finish line. Like I think that's how the relationship was. He was such a big mirror, and he was such a, you know, like nobody understood what I was doing with him. Nobody. Like everyone would look at me and go, what the fuck are you doing with him? But for me, there was something that I knew I needed to learn. There was something there. I felt such big love for him. And at the same time, I would almost call him my ex-husband's name, because he was so similar. And I remember I would sit down and I'd go, because he was really good. I just think that he's got a beautiful heart. I just think that what we had in common was that life had been crap with us, and the only thing we wanted was love. We wanted to be loved. We wanted to give love, but we didn't know how, because we were damaged. You know, so I couldn't judge him, because I would be judging myself. So it was very confronting. It was very fucking weird. So, you know, like he would get really out of his mind with drugs and with alcohol, and I was trying to not do as much, like trying to get away. And I even told him, like, fuck, if I would have met you when I was consuming every day, that would have been the end of it. But because I've already did that whole massive step, I didn't want to get back to where I was in that moment. So I was really protective of getting back into that, because I knew how hard it was for me to get out of it. So, you know, like he would get drunk and he would do this stuff and he would really be very verbally abusive. Like fucking crazy shit. And he would say all this stuff to me and I remember I would just sit there because I wouldn't argue with him. I would just let him vent and whatever, and I would just sit there and go, why the fuck am I saying, what am I doing? Like, why am I again in this situation? But like the big difference between my ex-husband and him was my ex-husband was a really big narcissist. Like he really knew and he really manipulated and he really put this persona of a fucking great man and he was shit. But with this one, he was just upfront. He was like, he was so similar to me. I don't even know how to explain this for you to be clear on how fucking similar it was. He was the same. Everyone knew what he did. He didn't really hide it. His persona would just show. Like, it just, you know, so I was sitting there and I would go, what the fuck am I doing here? And he was my neighbor, right? So we lived like 2 houses away from each other. So I really couldn't get out of it. And there was something between us that when we were together, everything was just like if I was just by myself. Like it was really fucking crazy. Like I don't even know how to explain this to you guys without so you can understand it. But I knew that there was something I needed to learn from him. And I'm so glad I stick by because I really learned. And after him, I learned everything I didn't want in a relationship. I learned everything that I was doing. I learned everything of what my dreams were of having money and having all this bullshit. And knowing that that's not what I wanted. Practically. So anyways, we start going out, like all this aggressive kind of stuff coming up. But like he was never aggressive towards me. He was just verbally abusive. But you know, like with his family, he had issues and all this stuff. And I was kind of in the middle of it. So I helped him kind of get back with his family. And you know, I was thinking like I could save him because I've already was doing a process of healing myself. I think that sometimes your ego gets in the way and you think, oh, I know best because I've done this stuff. So you start kind of wanting to intrude yourself into other people's healing process. And I learned the hard way that you can't heal anyone. You can't get involved in the process because he will bite you in the freaking ass. Do your work. And that's it. Let everyone else live their life and do their own process. Don't judge it. Just, you know, whatever. Again. So, you know, we were kind of trying to work together, but again, nothing would happen. Like things would just block itself, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like I didn't understand anything. My mom started going like, what the fuck are you doing? Like you shouldn't be with him, like all this stuff. And you know, in that moment, I was already researching certain things. Like before a situation happened, which I'm going to explain to you now, which was fucking terrible. I was doing a lot of already research. So not only up in the mountain and seeing, you know, like the whole stuff and realizing my life and being able to kind of see it as a different perspective. Because obviously a therapist, they didn't understand me. They couldn't help me at all. I had to try a different route. And for me specifically, going up to the mountain and finding out all these medicines and finding out all this information and sitting down with women that had gone through shit and listening to their stories and listening how they actually got out of it, it helped me to understand certain things about my life. So, you know, I was looking into numerology, I was looking into quantum physics, I was looking into neuroscience, I was looking into anything I could get my hands into. Anything that could help me understand what the fuck was going on in my life and how I could get better and how I could start creating a different reality. Even though in that moment I didn't realize how I know now and the tools that I've got now and the understanding that I've got now. But in those moments I was already getting little glimpses here and there of understanding what the fuck was going on, yeah. So anyways, you know, I'm going to the mountain. And then we were together, I think it was for like a year. And, you know, we wanted to do a trip to San Andres, which is an island close to Colombia. It's like a 2-hour flight. But it's a beautiful island. They call it the ocean of the 7 colors because you can see 7 blues in the ocean. It's like a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place. The one that I had gone with my ex-husband that time, that he tried to hit me again. And we were there for a whole month. So anyways, I go with this new, my ex-boyfriend, and I posted a video where, I don't know if you've got my socials, but I did, obviously circus background. I did this backflip from a boat that was just in the middle of the ocean. It was like a 9-meter drop. You know, you had to like climb for this like, you know, boat that's been there for like 50 years. So, you know, it was all rusty and stuff and rah rah and all this crap. And obviously I like adventure. I liked all that type of shit. So I was like happy as crap. And in that day specifically, we had been doing drugs and we had been drinking for a bit when we got to the boat. I think that day there was a few things there that happened that led up to what I'm going to tell you now, which was a scary fucking situation. But so, you know, we were drinking and we had this, what we call a ponton, which is like a boat, but it's like a flat boat. So we rented it out just for the both of us, and it was actually his, but they rented it out. Anyways, so, you know, his family, he's a really powerful family in Colombia, like a really powerful family. They have a lot of contacts, they have a lot of things, and you know, in Colombia, there is just a few families that kind of run the shit, and I think one of the families was his. So, you know, we started seeing how the police would act around them, and we had, practically we could do anything in the city or in Colombia, we ran the show. So we wouldn't get in trouble for anything. If they stopped us and we were drinking, they would just look at his ID and just let us go. Even in COVID, when we were in lockdown, they would stop us and nothing will happen. I'm giving that because that's an important part in the story. So, you know, we get to the boat and obviously I go and climb up, and mostly because I had already coke and I already freaking drank. So, you know, I was like not scared at all of anything. So I climb up and the 9 meters and I do a backflip. Obviously, it was just me, him, and 2 people that are the ones who kind of drive the boat and like, you know, the ones who know where to go and whatever. And they were all celebrating and going like, what the fuck? I think I'm the only person who has done that. I think it's still every time someone rents the boat, and even friends have sent me photos and they're like, look, this is the boat, they're talking about you and stuff, because nobody was crazy enough to do a fucking backflip of 9 meters of a bloody boat that you can't even get in it. You have to climb through it, and it's all full of rust and stuff like it's... Anyways, I did it. I did the backflip. So he tried to climb up. You know, I think as a male, I touched his ego a little bit that day, because obviously he's the man and he's tall and he's big and whatever, and I'm this tiny little girl, because I'm like 160, I'm like tiny. And he gets in the boat as well. Like they try to help him, he gets in the boat and he was freaking out. Like he couldn't even jump like normal because he was grabbing himself like, no, he was shitting his pants, like just like, you know. And obviously I come back and I do another backflip. Like why were you standing trying to get it? I'm like, and I'm doing this shit and everyone's celebrating me and whatever. And I think that moment he started getting like, oh, this fucking bitch, like you little bitch, I'm gonna show you who's the man. So we get out and we get into this little bike because we were like in scooters and stuff, and we had a little bit of an argument, and you know, I was already tired, and I kind of saw that he was, you know, he was ordering like bottles of whiskey, like, and drinking them like if it was nothing. That day, I've never seen anyone in my life, and I've been surrounded by drugs and all this stuff, I've never seen in my life somebody do so many drugs and drink so many alcohol at the same time in such a short period of time. So by now, you know, he was drinking in the bike and like having these bottles. I was like, okay, I'm just going to go to, like, I don't want to go to sleep. Like, he can go and do whatever the fuck he wants. I'm just going to go to sleep. But we get to the apartment. It was like a little enclosed condominium again, like a little, you know, apartments where like a few people live there and whatever. But it was in the other side of the island. So it wasn't like where everyone was. It was like in the other side. So it wasn't like easy access to get in or get out if it wasn't like public transport, but like taxis, they just wouldn't get there. Anyways, we get to the apartment and, you know, I start telling him like, you know, I'm just going to go to sleep. Like you go out, you do whatever the fuck you want. Like I don't want anything to do with it. And practically because I already see him that he was getting aggressive and he was being really, he was getting to levels that I was scared. And obviously after what happened with my ex-husband, when anyone got like that to like near me, I would freeze. Like my brain would just go, and I would just I couldn't do anything. I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything. My brain just wouldn't function. I would just go into freaking PTSD mode, yeah? So, he started getting really bad. Dude, like, you know how you plug your eyebrows? You've got like, he would do almost 0.5 gram on one go. And drink a whole bottle of whiskey, like those little ones, in one go. And I was like, this is, okay, I'm gonna be in fucking shit trouble right now. So I'm just gonna play the coolest I can. So, I got into the bed and I was like, okay, so I'm just gonna go to sleep. And I think he didn't like that reaction or something happened. And he just started getting aggressive with me and started telling me all this shit about my ex-husband and that I deserved to get punched and like kicked and like, he was telling me all this stuff to rattle me up. And I was just calm. I was like, okay, I'm packing all my stuff. And, we had changed like 2 days before, or the day before, we had changed our flights to stay 10 days more. And, he was asking for my passport because he wanted to destroy my passport so I couldn't get out. And, which was funny because I had my Australian passport and my Colombian passport, but I still could travel. But I don't know, something got in his head and he was just going cookie nuts with me at night. And he goes to me like, where's your passport and stuff? So I just started packing my bag, and I would literally get a little pink bag. And I was in bed and I was trying to hug the bag because I was like, you're not destroying anything. And in that room where I was, there was no reception. There was no coverage at all. So I couldn't make a call. I couldn't send a text. I couldn't do anything. It was just dead SOS reception. And he just started losing it. Like he really, I don't know if it was my reaction. I don't know if his ego was touched. I have no idea what happened that night. But, he started pretending to make a call, and I kind of tried to like lock myself into the room, but it's one of these sliding doors, so I couldn't really fucking lock it. And every time I closed it, he would just open it up. And he tried to grab me. So he was trying to kind of rape me, and I kind of stood up to him and I said, you fucking try to rape me, like, that's it, mate. Like that time that I stood up, I was like, it's gonna be you or me. Like, I'm not gonna let you fucking do this shit to me, yeah? And then, like things just, I don't know what he said, or I don't know how I responded. Something happened that made him started being physically abusive. So he started kicking me, and he started like grabbing me, and like I was full of bruises. He started kicking me in my fucking feet, and like, trying to grab me. So, I was defending myself, but I wasn't hitting him at all because I thought, I'm not going to be able to take him. Like, there's no way. He's huge. And if I do harm, they're going to take me. That's what I was telling you about the police, because the police is bored by him. Like, there's not going to be no repercussions. Like, if I die right now, nothing's going to happen. Like, at all. And I kept thinking about my mom, and I was like, what the fuck did I do? Like, okay, well, I wanted this in a way, but I didn't want it to be like this. But anyways, I was just waiting for time to pass. Bear in mind that we got there about 10 o'clock at night. This whole thing finished like at 6 o'clock in the morning. So it was a lot of time that I was in that room trying to defend myself, and trying to not even defend myself, like just trying to keep things as calm as I could with someone that was reacting as aggressive as he was. And I think I started like screaming or something. So for him to kind of make me shut up. Okay. Ooh. Fuck, I started getting a headache. He started like trying to suffocate me. Like he put a pillow in my head, and when he was trying to suffocate me, I think he was trying to just shut me up, like just don't scream, but at the same time he was fucking putting a pillow in my face, like trying to push down. And I'm very strong, and I know how to get out of things and whatever. So I started screaming. That moment I did start screaming. It's already like 2 o'clock in the morning, let's say. So obviously he started trying to put his fist in my mouth to try to shut me up and like try to suffocate me as well. And I beat him. Like, I just kind of, when he put my hand down and he was bleeding, I was like, oh my God, he's bleeding. And, he was fucking his hands here and there, so there's blood everywhere. And here we go, me laughing while I'm talking about this. But anyways, it's a defense mechanism, bear with me. So, when he saw that he couldn't shut me up, he just started choking me. He started choking me. And in that moment, I remember there was a few moments where I kind of looked and I thought, I could really harm him right now. And I've been always very scared of harming anyone, like even in fights and stuff. And that's why I stopped fighting with people, because I was very aware that one bad punch or one thing, you could die. And I don't have the heart to be able to harm anyone or to kill someone. I would fucking die. Like, I think that would be the end of me. Like, I wouldn't be able to handle it, yeah. But even though I was trying to get killed, I still couldn't defend myself that way. And, I was just trying to avoid him doing it. So I was trying to move around and whatever, and here and there, like push him over and like take him off me, and then try to confront or like hide or like show him that I was in defense mode. I wasn't trying to attack him at all. Like, just let me go. Like, please just let me go. Please don't harm me. Like, that's it. Like, I'm not going to fight you. Like, I don't care. I won't tell anyone. It is what it is. And I remember I told him, because obviously I didn't have no reception, I said to him, like, look, we changed our flights. Like, tomorrow was supposed to, let me just call the agency and change the flight so I can leave in a few hours. Like, I'll just change to the next flight and I'll leave your life, and I won't say anything to anyone, and I won't do anything, and just let me go. Like, please just let me go. That's the only thing I kept saying to him. So, it was almost 5-6 o'clock in the morning, and he goes, okay, just call the airline. So I got out of the room where I was kind of locked in for all those hours, and I was in the living room, and I told him, like, okay, let me just grab the booking reference and all this stuff, and I'll just call the airline and book the flight right now. So I grabbed the thingy, and I was pretending that I was going to call the airline, but I called my mum. So, I had the phone like that, and it goes, brr, brr, and my mom answers, and I go, Mom, X is trying to kill me. Like, that was the only words I said. Oh my God, he went crazy. I had moved my bag to the living room where my passport and everything was already. Sorry. Just, where everything was already, and I'm sitting there, and he grabs me again to try to choke me. I had the bag right next to me, and he was like in top of me choking me, and I was like next to the door, like, why the fuck did you call your mom? Because obviously if I called my mom, my mom could call his mom, and like, the whole shit will be obvious of what happened. And he had done some shit in his past, and his family already had him in bad notes. So I just think that, and they love my mom, so I guess that, it was like, what the fuck did you do? So, he was going crazy in that moment. I don't know still how the fuck I got out of there. I have no idea. I'm telling you, I know that I'm super protected, and I've got something taking care of me, and like my angels and my whatever things, because that day I squished my way from him. I grabbed my bag and I ran out of that apartment. But like, scary movie scene from like the people kind of running and like falling in the ground and whatever, and like trying to like scratch the way out. That was it. So I remember I get out and I started fucking screaming. I was like, like I'm gonna die. I'm sorry. And next time, I don't know how this is gonna sound, but anyways, it was just whoa. That was like my most whoa moment, because at least with my ex-husband was just one kick and that was it. But with this one was hours of abuse. It was hours. Like, when I left, I had everything, even inside of my mouth. I had scratches, and my legs were bruised, and my arms were bruised, and my head and everything, and I was being charged. My neck bruised up and everything. And I'd get out and I'd go to where the security people are, and I go, oh my God, he's trying to fucking kill me. And because it was 6 o'clock, they were going to change security guards. So this first one, he looked at me and he goes, wait, you have to go back. And I went, what do you mean you have to go back? He's fucking trying to kill me. Like, I want to get out. And he's like, no, wait, I have to call him. And then this new guy comes in and he looks at me and he goes, get the fuck out of here now. Like, they've been calling that they heard screamings and everything, but we couldn't go because it's him. We can't do anything about it. He goes, get the fuck out now, because he's called the police. He made us call the police to come and find you. So I get out running. and I go like to the front of the condominium, because there's like a little bench thing there, and the beach is right in front. And I was sitting there kind of hiding, you know, because I was trying to order a taxi, but nobody would pick up, and I couldn't. So I was there for about 2 hours, I think, freaking out, hiding, because I thought police were gonna fucking catch me. So I'm calling my mom, telling her like, no mom, like don't worry about it, like I've already got it now. And my mom's freaking the fuck out, because obviously I called her, I said somebody was killing me. So, you know, I'm like hiding and stuff, and I said to her like, look, I'm not gonna change the flight, because he knows he's gonna go and look for me in the airport. Look, obviously he was threatening me, saying that he was gonna do all this stuff, that he was gonna do stuff to my family, that he was gonna go to my house, like, you know, a lot of shit. So I was so scared. I was like, that's it, like, you know, like I fucked up, like what the fuck did I do? So I got this taxi finally, and you know, the taxi driver saw me how I was, and it was like, who the fuck, like let's get the police and let's get this stuff. And I was like, no, don't even get the police involved, because they're looking for me. Like, if you tell the police to go and get him, they're not going to do anything to him, they're just going to find me and they're going to take me back to him. So no way, like, just what's the cheapest, most hidden hotel in the center of the fucking city, and I'll just go and lock myself in for a few days in there. And that's what I did. I didn't come out. I waited for like an amount of days, so I knew that he wouldn't be able to pick up on in what day I was leaving, so he wouldn't go and find me in the airport or anything like that, you know, because I was freaking the fuck out. Like, I thought I was gonna find him in the plane, or like I was just so fucking scared. So, you know, I went through those days. I don't even remember those days, because I was in such shock. I couldn't believe I was again in a situation like that. I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe that. What the fuck just happened? Like, how did it happen? How did it get so bad? Like, why did I react? Like, you never know how you're gonna react in certain situations like that. And I was just so fucking angry, and I was like, oh my god, like I don't know what the fuck is going on. So anyways, I get to Cali, and then I started feeling sick. What the fuck is going on? So they did a COVID test, and I got COVID. Bear in mind, I couldn't take any medications, and they had told me from the beginning that if I ever got COVID, I would just have to sit and pray, and I couldn't take any of the medications that they gave you for COVID. I couldn't do anything. I just had to sit and see how my body reacted towards it, and that was it. So, you know, I'm just going through this whole fucking thing. We had moved from that little apartment to a bigger one in the same condominium, but it was bigger, you know, I had my terrace and like all this stuff. So what I did was I would go every day to sunbathe. So I would just be in my bikini outside in my terrace, drinking beer all day. And I remember my mom would come to me and go like, you know, because they got COVID as well, and they were like taking all these medications, and they had a rough time with COVID. I didn't feel anything. I lost my sense of smell. And my mom would be like, why are you drinking? Like, Rosanna, I would go, you know what? Like, I just think that, and that's one of the ways that as well I realized that whatever you give strength to could happen. I just didn't care. I was in such shock of what had happened. I was kind of scared, but I wasn't scared. Like, if I died from COVID, that would be the perfect excuse. Like, it wasn't nothing that I did crazy. It wasn't like nothing like that. It just, I got COVID and I died. So I didn't really even care. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to drink and whatever. And I'm going to take the sun, because they say the sun helps. So that's what I did. You know, like, because of everything he had been threatening me with and whatever and all this crap, and, you know, him living so close to me, because I could hear him with his motorbike, because he's got a specific motorbike, and I could hear him miles away, and I'll go, he's coming over. Like, it was crazy. And, I could hear him going past my condominium. So I was scared of walking around. I was scared of everything. I didn't want him to see me, because I thought if he sees me outside in the street, he's going to go fucking crazy. Like, I was just so afraid of what he could do. So, this was a bad decision of my part, because again, I didn't know how to be alone. And I thought that everyone else had to protect me. I couldn't protect myself. So I had this friend that I'd known from school and stuff. And we started going out. His family is very powerful as well. And I knew, and his, how do you call that? abogado penalista. He's like a lawyer that specializes in criminology, I think it is. Well, anyways, so, you know, I thought he's the only person that I could go out with that could protect me. Like, if I'm with him, he's not going to be able to do anything. Like, that's what I thought, yeah. I'm like, okay, so this is my perfect move. I'm going to start going out with this new guy. I was with him for about 6 months. You know, these other guys kept sending me flowers and trying to get like, and he was so fucking angry that I started going out with this new guy who would call me and like go off at me and like say shit and all this stuff. But then the phone calls started getting like, oh, you know, like I have a new business opportunity and like I'm so sorry and like meow 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 and all this stuff, and I'm going out with this new guy, and obviously the things, obviously I didn't get with him for the right reasons. Things didn't ended really nice. He was kind of shit. We're friends now and we can talk about it, but in that moment we really ended up things really badly. And obviously because it was a powerful family, like he really got a lot of people against me, even best friends. They were like, we can't hang around with you because these guys said no. And I was like, but it was the best thing that could have happened anyways. So you would have think, you know, after he almost kills you, you will never see him again. No. I went back with him. I didn't understand it. There was this something that kept pulling me towards him. So, you know, I said to him, like, look, because I was aware that day there was a lot of alcohol and a lot of drugs, and I knew his heart, and I knew that he didn't really, you know, and I knew he loved me. Like, I think I've never been loved so much by someone like he loved me. Like, he looked at me with so, like, he would see things in me that I didn't see in myself. He was so proud. He would look at me like if I was the most intelligent person, like if I was the prettiest person, like if I was anything, and I didn't even see that in myself. And I was like, I love that. Like, I love someone that kind of, you know, it's there. So anyways, you know, I told him, okay, so if we're going to get back together, I'm going to start doing drug tests on you. Like, you can't be with me if you're going to be doing drugs. It's the drugs or it's me. I think in a way, as well, for me, it was the biggest demonstration of love if you quit doing drugs in the party mode to be with me, yeah? It was like, that would be the demonstration of love. So anyways, you know, like I'm telling him all his stuff and he's like, yes, let's do it. And, you know, you could see that he was doing well. He was talking different. He was acting different. He started being good with his family. And I was so proud and I was so happy. And I was like, you know, like he just needs love. And I'm trying to save the world. And I'm trying to save him like I saved supposedly me in that moment. Ha. But I want to say with all this in mind, he was the biggest mirror for me. He showed me everything I was. Everything I didn't want anymore in my life. He showed me everything that was wrong with me, which was I didn't love myself and I was allowing all this bullshit to happen. I think that was the best gift he could have given me. It was self-fucking-worth. Know your worth, know your love. What the fuck are you taking? Like, because it got to a point where I knew he sometimes dragged me to go to parties. I knew he was fucking other girls. I knew all this stuff. And even with the drug testy things, he tried to lie to me. And I remember one day I was sitting down. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was sitting down in this chair and I started grabbing the chair with all my strength. And I was just sitting there going, what the fuck am I doing? Like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm already healing, you know, and I'm going through this process and understanding and whatever and here and there. And I found this photo that was exactly the same as my dad. And I was like, oh my God, he looks so much like my dad. Oh my God, he acts so much like my ex. What the fuck is going on? And I kept thinking that, you know, he was from past lives and that we were all this stuff. And, you know, because obviously I got in deep into a lot of knowledge. But then I started taking out what was interesting to me and what was resonating with me and letting go of the other stuff. But obviously that process of grabbing and letting go, there were certain moments that I believed certain things and that I let myself be guided for whatever was going on in that moment. So, you know, I'm sticking there, I'm healthy as shit. Like, he's supposedly not doing as many drugs. And I found out that he was doing a lot of crap. It was just, you know, he was I think he was trying to cope as well, because I think he's too far gone. Like he really has to do a lot of work for him to let go of that. But at the same time, I always saw his heart. I knew he wasn't a bad person. I knew he wasn't who he pretended to be. I could see past all that stuff. But still, I couldn't heal anyone. I couldn't take responsibility for anyone. It was his life. So I started letting go little bit by little bit. In these moments where we're going again back together, and I'm kind of already kind of letting go and kind of understanding the whole process of why I was with him, what was going on, whatever fucking shit. In that whole process, I started getting, again, really sick. My body always talks to me, it's beautiful. I started getting really sick in my stomach. So obviously they did test again with my hormones, and my cortisol levels were in such high fucking peak that when the doctor saw the result, he looked at me and he goes, how the fuck are you having a normal life? Like, what are you doing? Very important thing that I forgot in this whole time. I started in this moment after everything happened and whatever, and I kept going to the mountain and whatever. I was in the mountain one day and they kind of told me, people that go through anxiety and stuff like that, like if you take your medication, you're not allowing your body to show you what's going on. And I thought, you know what? I quit already Coke. I left my ex-husband. Now I'm going to leave medication, because I was an addict to medication still. I stopped smoking weed. I was drinking alcohol, but not as much, just a few beers here and there. But I had it a little bit controlled, and I thought, okay, the next step is leaving the medication. I had been taking, by that moment, anxiety medication, so like clonazepam, which is like Xanax, for 10 years. Every day. Half in the morning and half at night. And antidepressants, yeah, it was already 3-4 years. Doctors were telling me again, and because my cortisol levels was so fucking high in that moment, I wasn't taking the medication already. The first fucking months were holy fucking shit. It was the craziest thing I've ever done in my life. My body would shake. It was like a full detox, and even the doctor said to me, it's like a detox from heroin. Like, you can't quit. So I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I couldn't go to the bathroom. They had to do manual extractions. Sorry, this is a bit disgusting, but it is what it is. We're all human. We all poop. So they had to actually do manual extractions, like put the fucking finger and take the poopy out. And they had to put enemas to try to get it out. And they were like, look, it looks like goat poop, so it's like little circles, and that's really dangerous. You could actually, your intestines can rupture and you could die. And they were telling me, obviously I'm in this relationship and I'm living medication and I'm going through this whole process, and everyone was going what are you doing? So I saw every type of doctor. I tried to see everyone, and they kept saying the same fucking sentence to me. You're never going to have quality of life if you leave the medication. You're the same as a diabetic that needs insulin. Well, you need this medication because you have your cortisol levels are so fucking high and your serotonin levels are so fucking low that you're never going to be able to live a fulfilling, happy life. Ha, 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 ha. Thank you, doctors, for your shitty advice. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to do it by myself. I'm just going to do it. And I remember I started working for this company, like a UK company, and things started getting better for me. After that, I kind of started getting better. I started getting jobs and all this stuff, and things were working out a little bit better. So, I'm in the meeting room, and I'm and I want to puke, because I would puke all day. I would puke all day. I would sweat all day. I would shake like crazy, because obviously I was detoxing from a really big addiction to medications. They're really big. Huge, for a long fucking time. We're talking 10 years of my body used to having some medication to be able to calm down. So I had to learn new techniques of doing it without having to dope myself practically. So, I started investigating and I started studying neuroscience and quantum physics with this girl, and, understanding a lot. And she passed me all these YouTube videos and movies and stuff. And I started reading books and like gathering all this information. Everything started making sense. So I started meditating, I started breathing. I started being very conscious of what I was doing, what I was living, what here, what there. I've been now without medications for almost 3 years now. Doctors have said I couldn't do it. Kiss. And yeah, it was a fucking process. It was, because obviously I was sad, I was angry, I was happy, it was just like a fucking roller coaster of emotions. But like every second I didn't understand what the fuck was going on, but I was allowing myself to feel, because I feel that was one of the biggest things that I was afraid of. I was afraid of feeling. I was trying to like hide stuff with all this shit and do all this type of crap, but everything kept going bad. So I just thought, you know what, fuck this shit. Like I'm going to confront it. Like now it's got to a point that it's easier for me to confront my shit than to keep living how I'm living. And mostly after that happened, because that almost getting killed really shook me to my core. I was like, I do not want to live through this again, because if it happens again, that's it. That's going to be the end of me. And I don't want to die like that, like I didn't want to die like that. So, anyway, with this lady, and she's telling me all this stuff and whatever, and she kind of really separated me from the mountain, because she was talking about like, the medicines were like different energies, and like, I was getting so much information here, but then she changed all this information here, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? That's when I started realizing that everything is good. Everything has something for you. So I started grabbing what was interesting for me from each thing and making my own little Bible, making my own instruction manual for my brain and how I reacted, because I couldn't compare myself to anyone else. I haven't met anyone else in my fucking life, and I've lived in 9 cities all over the bloody place, and I know a lot of people, and I've never met anyone who has gone through even half of what I've lived. So I couldn't understand that somebody could tell me what my tools were. So I had to build my own fucking manual. So anyways, I'm going through the process of this, and I'm going there and here and there. And then because when I came back with my ex, he had a problem with his back. He had to even get surgery and everything, but he was really bad with his back. He couldn't walk, he couldn't do this, he couldn't do that. So I started working with this guy that my stepdad had introduced me with, because I always wanted to do apps. Like that was my dream. Like I'm very creative. So even fucking 10 years ago, I was coming up with ideas that now are coming up to light. And like, ideas when I was in that moment, that now that's how the world transformed into communities, into helping women. So when COVID came, I wanted to do this app. But obviously, because I felt I didn't have studies, I didn't have the money, I didn't have self-worth, I was like, help me please. I even won with one of really good universities in Colombia, in Cali, which is the CESI. I won this thing for women in STEM, so like, in technology and maths and science and whatever. And I even won that without having no idea. So I started working with this guy. He was Jewish, he was a part, he knew my stepdad, because my stepdad started in COVID to go into a Jewish studies, like, to study the Torah. And so this guy, I was already working with him, the apps, and we were constructing this app for the Torah specifically. So we did that whole app. It's just that obviously because I didn't love myself and whatever, they didn't get no recognition for doing it. And then there's a little bit more things in there that I'll tell you just in a minute. So, he takes me to this place, and he was like, so it's my chiropractor. So, you can get a little bit of information to tell you X. And I was like, okay, let's go. When I get there, I realized he was an actual, he's not a priest. He is a rabbi. He's the rabbi of a Keilah in Cali, and the Keilah where my stepdad used to do his studies. So obviously he sees me and he starts telling me all this stuff and whatever, and I kind of start crying, and I was going with my stomach, and I was having so much problems with my whole body and whatever, and I'm like, I'm feeling so sick, and like, I'm trying to get out of this medication and all this bullshit and da 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 da, because it took me I think it was like over a year of being every day really sick, like over a year. But I was aware that my body was reacting as a junkie, just letting go of the drug addiction, of the medication addiction, because it wasn't even the drugs now, it was the fucking medication of the addiction. So, you know, he goes to me, why don't you just come to the studies? Have you ever read the Torah, the Bible? And I went, no. Like, you know, for me, the Bible was written by men. I don't fucking believe in people and humans are being so bad to me. So, like, no, I don't believe in that. And it was like, just come and study and see how it goes. I remember walking in that day, you know, because I was freaking out because I thought my stepdad is here. Like, I don't want to invade his space and he's going to go like, what the fuck is she doing here? Like, you know, me crazy. He didn't really agree with everything I was doing with the mountain. He didn't agree with my ex-boyfriend. He would just look at me like I was this weird human that he didn't understand. He saw so much potential, but I was just throwing it away. So, you know, I kind of speak to him and I go like, I think I want to go. Like, I don't want to interrupt you or like, you know, kind of make you feel uncomfortable, but like, I want to try it out and see, you know, I'm trying to look for answers everywhere and I'm trying to understand what the fuck, and I want to test everything out. Like, I want to see what's going on. So I started going. The first day that I walked in and I heard the music and I started crying. I felt like I was, like I had arrived. I don't even know how to explain it, but I felt so much love. I felt the music was, I understood the lyrics. It was something fucking crazy for me. So I really committed, and I said, you know, like, he told me, like, if you're really committed in like changing your life, why don't you commit to doing 40 Shabbats? So Shabbat is the holiday on the week, like Friday to Saturday, where you just don't do anything and you're kind of grateful for everything that happened, and you know, you do your dinner and you enjoy the night. So I thought it was a beautiful ritual, and I still do Shabbats. And he goes, why don't you do 40 Shabbats and see how you go? Like, you can transform your life. And I thought, fuck yes, like, let's do it. So I started studying Mondays, Wednesdays, and I would go Friday to celebrate Shabbat. So it was in the other side of the city. So I would go with my stepdad, and you know, he started coming more times, and then my cousins started coming, and then my mom wanted to join, and you know, it was a beautiful process of understanding that relationship with God. Again, I'm not a religious person at all. I think that what I learned from their traditions and from what they think, and you know, reading the actual 5 books, and I remember the first time I read it, I was like, oh my God, this is so violent and like crazy stuff. But I started reading between the lines. I started reading from a different level of consciousness, you may say, and I started understanding really beautiful things. I think for now we're going to leave it here. I don't know, it's kind of stopping in the moment. So this episode, you know, is the last kind of crappity crap shit. Next episode, everything starts getting really beautiful, like magical things happened. Everything just started making sense in my brain. I started gathering the tools. I started realizing what I was putting in front of me. I started realizing if I thought different things happened. If I acted different things happened. If I allowed myself to really love me and to really understand that I was worth it, and try to take out all those masks and all that, you know, that it's like I was trying to protect myself with all these different kind of shit and being like a little turtle, and I started taking it off and ripping it off and healing myself and loving myself and understanding that everything I went through was perfect for what I needed to discover. Maybe if I didn't go that bad, I wouldn't have realized what I do now. Maybe if I didn't get into that relationship, I would probably be in another one that would have showed me that, because I needed to see that it's not their fault. It was what I was creating in my reality. It's not even my fault. It's just perfect. It is a situation. But we always have 2 options of seeing it, as the victim, or try to see what it is that you need to learn from that situation. If you're standing right in front of me, what am I created this, so what are you telling me that I need to listen to? What it is that you're kind of resonating with? What am I gathering from this? And it's been a freaking beautiful process to live through. And again, I'm so proud of me, and I'm so proud of the journey, you know, because I think not many people have been able to do this, because society hasn't given us the tools to be able to go through this. And that's why I want to share it, because I feel again that if I did it, you can do it. And I'm going to be telling you what worked for me. Maybe it doesn't work for you. Maybe some of it will. Maybe you have to learn somewhere else more stuff, because I've never been one to learn things like this. I grab whatever it's good for me, and I transform it, and I use it, and I experiment, and I try to you know, keep always analyzing myself and analyzing the situations and whoever comes to me. And I always say that you have to have your eyes open, your ears open, and your mouth, if it's open, your ears listening to what you're saying, because sometimes the messages aren't what we're saying as well. Everything we're creating, this beautiful reality, everything is just, it's perfection, but we decide how we want to see it. We can see it as shameful, we can see it as bad. Or just understand yourself and be compassionate, not only with you, but with everyone else. And understand that if God is inside of us, it means it's in everything and in everyone. So, you know, if you're hating someone, why are you hating them? What is the reflection of what they're showing you? Maybe it is something you need to heal. Maybe it is reminding you of a trauma you haven't wanted to see yet. Or maybe you just have to act a little bit different to stop attracting that type of people. It's exactly like that. Sometimes, you know, I remember when everyone used to say, everyone is your mirror. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, that bitch can't be my mirror because I don't like to be like that. I'm like, yeah, well, it was just showing me that I didn't have to deal with that type of people. And I needed to just be compassionate with them and just not see them. And then they would disappear. Like that. It's been a beautiful magic journey, and I'm going to keep telling you. So next episode, we're going to be talking about what? My breaking point, not breaking point, but what made me take the decision of leaving again and coming to Australia. I never wanted to leave again like I used to do before, which was running away and like trying to hide and trying to avoid. Like this time I thought I'm going to make the decision when I'm really ready to do it. Obviously something happened, which is very funny because you would think of everything that's happened in my life, that was the one who made me make the decision of coming. But it was perfect. It was what it was. And it was the moment that I really decided that I wanted to come back, and I wanted to start creating my beautiful reality from a different point and a different thing. And arriving here has been a journey as well. But everything that I could tell you is the difference is that I have a different perspective. So much. In those moments, I remember when everything happened, when I was in the mountains, Sion, they were doing the operation, the girl goes to me like, you know, your ovaries are cold. Like, you should give yourself 9 months without having sex so you can, you know, heal your ovaries. And I was like, wait, what? 9 months without sex? Are you crazy, women? Like, what the fuck are you going on about? Like, who the fuck spends 9 months without having sexual relationships? Like, what? What? So when I came to Australia, that was my next challenge. And now it's been 14 months and it's been such a beautiful self-discovery, because I don't need anything outside to give me what I already got. I've been giving that to me. Everything that I thought I needed to get from the outside, I've been giving it to me, and it's been a beautiful transformation journey, worth it, of a podcast and a book, which I'm going to be telling you about later. Anyways, thank you very much for listening. I hope, you know, the story was clear again. I hope that if you are in a toxic relationship, see what it is that you need to learn from there and get the fuck out. Because if you don't learn and you keep jumping from one relationship to another and you're just not learning what you need to learn, life is just going to keep showing it to you until you decide, okay, this is enough. I've got enough. Like, okay, show me what it is that I need to learn. But if not, it's just going to keep happening. Be aware that you're the only one who can take control of your life. You're the only one who can save yourself. Don't expect anything, not a job, not a person, not anything, not a kid. Not anything is going to save you and give you the love that you need to give to yourself. And sometimes it's just small things, like saying no when you want to say no, like getting a little massage once in a while, or taking a day for yourself. Little tiny steps build huge transformations. So here I am to share mine. Raw shit, and whatever comes, it comes. And again, there's a lot of stories that I've left out, not because I wanted to, just because they didn't come out. And I guess at some point they will come out. You would think, oh my God, you've got more shit. There's a few things in there. A little few things in there that you know, that haven't come out. But again, if my story can help you in any way, even if it is go through a process that you're going through, even if it is understanding other people that you love that are going through it, or even if it is just appreciating your life and know that nothing is there to harm you if you don't allow it to, and that you can create a beautiful, beautiful life, and not the life that we always think, a content life, a peaceful heart, the enjoying of everything, the present bloody moment, because the only thing we have, it's the only thing our brain understands. So anyways, we've been talking for about an hour now, so yay, thank you again for staying, for listening, and I will see you on the next one. Ciao, ciao.